Good evening, everyone. Good evening, friends. Welcome back to our sessions on Python for AI. So we have successfully completed 13 days. Okay. So today is our 14th day where we are going to start a new topic and it is operators. Okay. So I'll go back. I have to go back to the agenda slide. Okay. So you see here. So it took us probably 13 days to just understand a few topics like history, introduction, okay, then features, installation IDs, followed by variables and data types. So far, we just understood only 7 topics, and in today's topic, we are going to start a new topic. It is operators. Okay, so what is an operator? What are the different types of operators we have in Python? And we'll understand each and every operator with examples. Okay, so that is the agenda for today's session. I hope it's clear. So let's get started with the topic called operators. So friends, if you're joining for the first time, just consider subscribing our YouTube channel because here we are going to come up with amazing content in future as well. In order to get all the notifications, updates, ensure that you click on the subscribe button. Right. So now let us understand what is an operator in Python. What is an operator in Python? The word operator, it talks about a symbol. 1 minute. Yes. So the word operator, it is talking about a symbol which helps us to perform some kind of operations. We can perform operations on the data by using these symbols. Okay. So when you are able to connect with the operators, if you are able to connect multiple variables, two or more than two variables or the objects using an operator, it becomes an expression. It becomes an expression. And in Python, we have 7 types of operators. Like how we have 14 types of data types. Okay, there are 14 different data types in Python, right? In the same way, we have 7 types of operators. And they are arithmetic operator, assignment operator, relational operator, logical operators, bitwise operators, membership operators, and identity operators. Okay, so we'll be understanding each and every operator with some examples. Okay, out of all these 7 operators, bitwise operator is considered as most important. Yes. Okay, so probably if time permits, we'll see today. If not, probably in the next session. I hope it's clear. So what is exactly an operator? Operators are nothing but symbols which helps us to perform operations. So whatever operations that you want to do, accordingly we have to come up with the symbol, the right operator, and that will ensure the operation done. Okay, it performs the operation. Then what is an expression in Python? Expression is nothing but we use operators, right? When we are trying to use these operators between two or more than two variables, it becomes an expression. Clear? Yes. And Python programming, it does not support, ternary operators. No. And we can also have shorthand operators. So by using these same operators, we'll be working on shorthand operators as well. Okay. So I'll start with the first type. It is arithmetic. Let me go back to Spider. You see here, we have operators, which is a symbol, okay, which helps us to perform certain operations, and under each and every type of operator, we have types. Under arithmetic operator, we have plus, minus, asterisk mark, then slash, double backslash. Okay. Then followed by percentage symbol, double asterisk mark. So what are these talking about? We'll understand, friends. In the same way, under assignment operator, we have is equals to. Then types under relational operators, we have them here. Logical operators, under logical operators, we have three types: and, or, and not. Then coming to the membership operators, we have in, not in. Okay. Then the next operators we have are identity operators, under which we have is not. And finally, bitwise operators, where we have a few more types. So we'll be understanding one by one, slow and steady. We are going to understand all these types of operators. Right? So let us start with arithmetic operators. The first type. So in general, what is the purpose of arithmetic operator? What is the purpose of using arithmetic operators? Is arithmetic operators helps us to perform arithmetic operations. Okay, so you see, it helps us to perform arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Then we can also get power, the modulus gets calculated. So all of these are different types of arithmetic operations, and this can be performed using arithmetic operators. Yes, we'll use different arithmetic operators to perform the operation. Okay, then what if this particular arithmetic operator is being used between two or more variables? It is going to create an expression, but what kind of expression it is? It becomes an arithmetic expression. Why? Because I'm going to use an arithmetic operator between the variables. Since I'm going to use an arithmetic operator, so that expression is called arithmetic expression. Okay, so let us go and have an understanding about a few examples. Okay, what are we doing in line number 2439? 2439. I'm going to store a value 10. Yes. So value 10 gets stored in the variable A. Right? In an object A, we are going to store value 10. Right? Then, which type will be used to store this value? It helps us. Which type will be stored? Which type is used to store this value 10? Int type will be used. Friends, data types concept is must and should. Okay, whoever is joining for the first time, we also have a playlist. Okay, a well-structured playlist we have for Python. Okay, so start it from scratch and go through the sessions one by one. Okay, we have covered the concept of data types. All the 14 types are being covered. Int type will be used to store the value 10 inside A. Right? So let me execute the line 2439. Done? Executed? Yes. I see in the variable explorer. In the same way, I'm also going to, store 3 inside B. Again, the same data type int be used. The same int will be used to store the value 3. Yes. Done. Then, what are we doing in line number 2442? I'm going to use an operator. What kind of operator it is? It is an arithmetic operator. It is an arithmetic operator which helps us to perform, addition of numbers. We'll get the addition of the numbers. right? So A plus B is what it executes, and let me write it over here. So it is nothing but 10 plus 3. 10 plus 3. So what will be the output, friends? Which function are we using? We are using print function, right? So we know that print function helps us to display the output to the console. It helps us to return the output to the console, right? So it performs addition. It is going to sum up the values of A and B and it prints the output. What will be the output? The output will be 13. Good. So what kind of operator did we use? It is an arithmetic operator. And what is this expression called? Arithmetic expression. I'm able to, connect two variables using an arithmetic operator and it is called arithmetic expression. Then in the same way, what's happening in line number 2444? 2444, A minus B. So which is nothing but subtraction is being done. The difference of the numbers, it is what going to return us, right? Where I'm going to take 10, the difference of 10 and 3 will be returned. So the output will be 7. Good. Then in the same way, what will be the output for line number 2446? What kind of operator it is? This is an multiplication operator. Okay. So this is represented with asterisk mark. And multiplication operator returns product of the numbers. So A multiplied by B will be returned. What will be the output? 10 multiplied by 3. The output will be 30. The output will be 30. Yes. Then coming to the next case where we are going to perform division. A divided by B. We are using slash. Yes. Backslash is being used and this is an symbol for division operator. It performs division. 10 divided by 3 is what it is going to return us. It will return the division. So what will be the output? 10 divided by 3. What is the output, friends? What is the value for 10 divided by 3? Comment. 3.33. Right? 3.33333 so on till 5. Okay. So this is the output that we have got when we are dividing 10 with 3. Okay. 10 divided by 3, we have got the output. But we also have one more operator, arithmetic operator called as floor division. This is called floor division, which performs similar division operation only, but it just returns us the floor value. Only the floor value will be returned. Okay. And moreover, a division operator will always return us a float value. A decimal value will be returned as output. Okay, so let me execute line number 2450. What kind of operator it is? It is belonging to floor division. This is representing floor division operator. Okay, and the floor division operator will just return us the floor value. It performs division. Okay, similar to the previous case, the division operator, but only the floor value will be returned. So the output for line number 2450 will be just 3. It will be just only 3. Clear? Good. Then in the next example, we are going to use modulus symbol a symbol called modulus? It's percentage, right? So this percentage symbol is representing modulus operator. Okay, so this modulus operator will return us the remainder. When we perform division, we'll have dividend, divisor, quotient and remainder. So this modulus operator will return us only the remainder. Okay, this modulus operator is represented using percentage symbol. So what will be the output? Go for a wild guess. Good. For line number 2452, where I'm going to perform 10 modulus 3. So in 3 table, how many times can we exactly divide 10? No, 3 threes are 9. So 10 minus 9 will be 1. So the difference is 1. So obviously the remainder should be 1. Percentage symbol is representing modulus operator, which returns the remainder. When a division is performed, we'll get the remainder, right? So that will be returned by modulus operator. Then coming to the next case, I'm going to use, what is this operator? It is double asterisk mark. Single star represents multiplication operator, but double asterisk mark represents exponential operator. Okay, power operator is what it represents. So in short, we read it as a raised to the power b. Okay, we calculate power, right? A power b. In the same way, we represent a power b in Python in this fashion. A double star then b. So this is going to return as a power b. So what will be the output for line number 2454? 10 power 3. What will be the output? 1000? Yes. 1000? Yes. So let me execute and cross check the results. Is it 1000? Yes, it is 1000. Right? So all the operators, if you take addition operator, subtraction operator, multiplication operator or division operator, okay, even exponential operator, all these operators we are learning from our school days. Okay, these are not something new for us. But coming to floor division and modulus operator, probably that we got introduced for the first time, right? So you have to focus more on these two operators. Okay, whenever you're coming up with your examples, ensure you take two values for two variables and try using multiple operators. All the arithmetic operators, just give a try. Clear? Right. Then I want the output for line number 2456. Print of 10.0 divided by 3.0. Which operator it is? First of all, it is a division operator. Am I right? Yes. What kind of operator it is? Division operator. So 10.0 divided by 3.0. A division operator will return the coefficient. So the output will be 3.333, so on. The same. A division operator will always return as a float value. A float value will be returned. See. Just have a look in the console. And before I execute the next line, I'm able to see the output in the console only. Why am I not able to store these values in the variable explorer? Why are we unable to see the values in the variable explorer? Why only in the console part? What might be the, solution for it, friends? For each and every example that we have executed so far, I'm just able to see the output only here. Why the output is not getting stored? Why? Please respond. Even though if it is number, I am able to store it, right? That is not the answer. What if it is a number? This is a number. I can understand. But still, I can store it. Good. See, in each and every case, I'm using print function and I'm printing the output. But anywhere so far, did I use any variables? Any objects are being used to store the output? No. If you are not using any objects, any variables to store the output, how can you see them here? We are just printing them. I'm using print function and I'm going to print the output to the console. That's it. I hope it's clear. Variables are not assigned anywhere, right? Yes. Which operator is being used in line number 2458? What is this operator? Which operator it is? It is a floor division operator, double slash. Single slash is division operator. Double slash represents floor division operator. So what will be the output? 10.0 floor division 3.0. A floor division operator works similar to division operator. Okay, it performs division, but it just returns the float value. Right? That is what we have understood. So what will be the output? Will it be 3? How many of you say 3 for this line? Perfect. Good. It will not be 3. It will be 3.0. It will be 3.0. Why 3.0? Because what kind of values am I using? I'm using decimal values. 10.0, 3.0 is what am I using? In the previous case, I just used 10, 3. Both of them are stored using int type data. But for this, it uses float type data type, right? Float data type will be used. Then it will also return as 3.0. It will not be 3. Just focus. Okay. So let me also execute the same line. Did it return 3.0 or 3? It returned 3.0. Clear? Then, in the same way, what will be the output for line number 2460? Where I am using the same operator, same floor division operator is being used, but this time I am using one int type data value and the other one is float type value. So what will be the output? This is a float type value and the other one is int type value. What will be the output? Same 3.0 will be the output. If you have at least one float type value, the output, even though if you are using floor division operator, the floor value will be returned, but in the form of float, float type. Excuse me. right? Then what about the next case? Line number 2462. One value is int type value and the other one is float type value. And what kind of operator are we using? We are using floor division operator. Will the output be same? Yes, the output will be same again. The output will be same. I hope it's clear. Why are we focusing on floor division operator more? Is because we are learning for the first time. Right? Rest of the operators like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, as well as power operator, we have understood from we are familiar with these operators from our schooling days itself. For the first time, we got introduced to a new operator, that is floor division. It is represented using double slash in Python. Okay, and the purpose of floor division operator is it performs division and the floor value only will be returned. But if you are using any float type value, okay, if any of the value is float type, the output will be again a float value. Okay, you'll get the floor value that will be in the form of float type. Clear? So let me go to the next example where we are going to come up with a program that is going to calculate the square root of any number. Square root of any number can be calculated using this program, friends. Okay. So what are we doing in line number 2465? I'm using two different types of functions. One is input of message function. Input of message function. What is the purpose of input of message function? What is the purpose of input of message function? In the previous session, we have understood, right? Input of message. Input of message function helps us to read the data from the keyboard. Okay, in general, we have, in order to read the data from the keyboard, we have two functions. One is input function and the other one is input of message. Okay, the advantage that we get using input of message function is it also gives a message to the end users. Okay, so end users gets benefited when they go through this message so that they can give the input immediately. Yes, end users can understand the message easily and accordingly they will provide the inputs. Once the inputs got, once the inputs have been given from the end user level, this input function will read the data by default in which type? str type. Okay, even if I say enter any number, for example, if I give it as 10, the 10 will be converted to str type by default. So what are we doing? That number which is in the form of str, we are converting back to float type. So 10 which is in the quotations will get converted to float type and the output will be 10.0. So let me execute and give the same value as 10. I'm clicking on enter. Is it done? Yes, it is done. I can clearly see the value for n. What is the value? It is 10.0. But did I provide 10 or 10.0? I have just provided 10. Okay. Float function has helped us to convert. It has performed the type conversion from str to float. Then what logic are we implementing here? How can we calculate square root of any number? In general, square root is nothing but 1 by 2. Yes, 1 by 2. So this is equals to 0.5. 1 by 2 is nothing but 0.5. So I'm using the same logic. So for any given number, okay, that gets stored in the value of n. The value gets stored in the place of n, right? So n raised to the power, exponential symbol is what I'm using. Exponential operator is what I'm using to the power 0.5. So the square root of the number gets calculated and the result gets stored in RES. And finally, I'm using print function to print the result. And I'm using the syntax of print function where I am going to print a message along with the values using format function. So the values gets formatted at the positions, at these positions. Wherever we have no empty flower braces, curly braces, the values of N and RES gets formatted. So what will be the output if I execute line number 2467? Probably, square root of 10. Square root of 9 is, what is the square root of 9? 3? Yes. So square root of 10 should be around 3 point something. So let me execute this. Done. I see the square root of 10 is 3.16. I'm also going to execute line number 2467, which helps us to print the results to the console. Done. Square root of 10.0 is 3.16. The formatting is being done, friends. Let me try executing all these lines together. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Let me execute all of them. This time, let me provide the number as 100. So what will be the output? What will be the output? It is 10.0. Obviously, square root of 100 is 10, but this 100 that we have passed is getting converted to float. So the float value will be taken, and for the float value, the square root gets calculated. So square root of 100.0 is nothing but 10.0. I see the output to the console. Clear? Then in the same way, we can also come up with a program which is going to calculate the power. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Just give two numbers, and for these two numbers, we are going to come up with the logic. We have exponential operator, okay, which helps us to return the power. The power will be returned. So for that, we use double asterisk mark, double star. So I'm using the same input function, input of message, and that input of message will read the data from the keyboard. Okay. So let me execute. So it is asking me to enter the base. I'm just giving it as say 3. This 3 will be converted to float value. So obviously the value of A should be 3.0. Then what are we doing in the next line? We should also pass the next value, the base and the power. So in the next line, it is going to take the power value from the end user, from the keyboard. Okay, so it is asking me to enter the power. So let me keep it as 2. So 2 gets converted to float value. What will be the output, guys? What will be the output? If I execute the next line, what is the value of A? 3.0 double star. Then what is the value of M? 2.0. Let me execute. Done? Yes. So the output will it be 9 or 9.0? 9.0. Okay. So I'm just printing the results using print function where I'm using format function in the picture. See. Done. I hope it's clear. Okay. In this way, if you are understanding the basics, okay, the topics for each and every level, you can come up with your own code. Just understanding the question, and accordingly we are going to build the logic. So we have designed a program. This is going to calculate the square root of any number. In the same way, the next program helps us to calculate the power. Right? Yes. So with this, we mark the end of arithmetic operators. Okay. So we have understood addition, multiplication, subtraction, division, floor division, then modulus as well as exponential operators. All were being done. Let us understand the next operator, that is assignment. So what is the purpose of assignment operator? The purpose of assignment operator is it helps us to transfer the right hand side value, whatever the value that you have towards the right hand side. Okay, so this value gets transferred to the left hand side variable. So that is the purpose of assignment operator. And under assignment operator, we just had only one operator, that is equals to. That is equals to. Okay, so that means from day one, without, we are not aware that we are using an assignment operator. In each and every case, we are using assignment operator only. Because of this assignment operator, the value that you have towards your right hand side, so this side is being assigned to left hand side value. So obviously towards the left hand side, what do you have? You will have variable. You'll have the variable object. The object. So the value gets stored. It gets transferred because of assignment operator. And this assignment operator can be done in two ways. It's nothing but single line assignment and multi-line assignment. So probably so far we are just using only single line assignment. Can we also perform multi-line assignment using assignment operator? Yes. Yes, we can. Okay. So let us understand what is the difference between single line assignment and multi-line assignment. So single line assignment takes the syntax as variable name is equals to value, or even variable name is equals to expression. So within a line, within one single line, how many values are you going to assign to the variable? Just only one? Yes. Only one value or one expression we are going to assign to the variable, the object. Here we have the examples. We have the examples over here. Is it an example of single line assignment? Yes. I'm going to assign the value 10 in A. So 10 gets assigned to A. So this is an example for single line assignment. Variable is equals to value. That's it. The same example, one more example for single line assignment. B is equals to 20. So either you transfer a value to the variable or an expression to the variable. Both are, all of these are examples for single line assignment only. Then what makes the difference between single line assignment and multi-line assignment, we'll understand. Okay, so let me execute all these lines. A is equals to 10. So storing 10 inside A. Then B is equals to 20. So I'm going to transfer the value 20 to B. Done. Then what are we doing in the next line? 2490. So performing arithmetic operation, it is addition. So that means we are going to store an expression. We are going to transfer an expression to the variable. Okay. So A plus B will be 30 and 30 gets stored in C. Done. And I'm using print function and I'm going to print all the variables A, B, C. At a single time, I'll get all the values. So these are the examples for single line assignment. But let us also focus on multi-line assignment. Is it possible to assign the values, of multiple lines in a single value? Yes. Yes. You see, with multi-line assignment, we can assign multiple RHS values, the values that you have towards the right hand side. of the assignment operator will be multiple. And these multiple RHS values, right hand side values, will be assigned to multiple left hand side values, variables. Okay, so within a single line, you see how many values I'm going to assign to multiple variables. So that makes the difference between single line assignment and multi-line assignment. So in a single line, I'm able to assign three values to three variables. The syntax is variable 1 comma, variable 2 comma, so on, variable n is equals to value 1 comma, value 2 comma, so on, value n. Okay, so just I'm mapping the syntax. I'm just using the syntax. So what values am I going to store? 10, 20, 30. In which variables? A, B, C. Simple. So this is called multi-line assignment, where we assign multiple values to multiple variables in a single line. Done. The values got updated? Yes. So let us print all the values of A, B, C together. It should be 10, 20, 30. Then what are we doing in line number 2501? This is a single line assignment again. A single value gets stored to a single variable. So I'm just performing arithmetic operation addition. So sum of all the three numbers will be, the values gets added and it gets stored in T. So this is going to return as 60. 10 plus 20 plus 30 will be 60. Clear? Then what are we doing in line number 2504? 2504. Come on, friends. Is it a single line assignment or multi-line assignment? I can clearly understand that it is a multi-line assignment where we are going to store, two values. Two values are being stored to two variables. So obviously it is an example of multi-line assignment. So what happens? 10 gets stored in A. Okay, so 10 gets assigned to A and 3 gets assigned to B respectively. Okay, so in the same way, once after the assigning is done, A takes the value of 10. B takes the value of 3. Now, I want you guys to respond for line number 2505, where we are performing multi-line assignment. R1, R2, R3, R4 is equals to multiple. What are these? Expressions. And in each and every expression we have arithmetic operators, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and finally the power, the exponent, a power b. So what will be the values for R1, R2, R3, R4? R1 takes a plus b, it will be 13. R2 takes a minus b, it will be 7. R3 takes multiplication, the product, 10 into 3, it is 30. And R4 takes finally, the exponent value, 10 raised to the power 3. So the output will be 1000. Accepted or not? Will you accept or not? Right? Yes. So let me execute the same line. And I'm going to print the values one by one, where I'm going to print a comma b. So the values of a and b are Okay, I have to update him. First A and B takes 10, comma 3. Okay, then the values of R1, R2, R3 gets R4 gets calculated. Then I'm going to print A and B together. It is 10 and 3, and printing the values of R1, R2, R3, R4. So the values are same: 10, 7, sorry, 13, 7, 30 and 1000. Excuse me. Clear? So we have also completed assignment operator, because under assignment operator we have just only one, that is equals to. And what is the purpose of assignment operator? The purpose of assignment operator is it helps us to assign the values that we have on the right hand side will be assigned to left hand side variables. Under assignment operator we have, we can perform the assigning task in two ways. One is single line assigning and the other one is multi-line assigning. Okay, we have also understood the difference, right? Let us go to the next type of operators called relational operators. Relation. Okay, the name of the operator is relational operators. So what is the purpose of using relational operators? Let us have a quick look. The relational operators, they help us to compare two values. Okay, so we can compare the values. And if you are using any relational operator between two variables or objects, it becomes a relational expression. Like how we are able to get arithmetic expression. In the same way, we can also get a relational expression. An expression is called relational expression when between the variables, if there is a relational operator used between two or more variables, then it becomes a relational expression. Right? And moreover, a relational expressions, when they got evaluated, they're also called as conditions, and they always return either true or false. Only these two values it returns. Nothing else apart from it. Either true or false. So in short, you're going to, compare the values using relational operators, right? So obviously the output should be either true or false, nothing else. Clear? Yes. Now let us start hands-on with respect to relational operators. So where I'm going to take three values. For A, I'm going to assign the value 10. So it is single line assignment. It is not multi-line, it is single line. Then 20 is being assigned to B. 30 is being assigned to C. Done. Sorry, it's 10. My bad. I'm going to store 10 in C. So I see the values for A, B, C as 10, 20 and 10. Right? Yes. Now let me start using one by one relational operators that we have in Python. The first operator that you see is called, what is this called? It is called greater than. What is the symbol called? Greater than. So the relational operators that we have are again, we are familiar with all the operators, but you should be aware of only the symbols. That is enough. Because from schooling days, we are aware of all these operators. We have used them, right? So the first operator that we are taking is greater than. A greater than B. What is the value that we have in A? It is 10. What is the value that we have in B? It is 20. 10 greater than 20. Is it true or false? What will be the output for line number 2521? 10 greater than 20. Is 10 greater than 20? No, right? 10 is not greater than 20. 10 is less than 20. So what will be the output? The output will be false. The output will be false. And whenever you are using a relational operator, you can expect only two outcomes. Either it can be true or false. Nothing else apart from it. Then I want you guys to respond for 2523. B greater than C. 20 greater than 10? Yes. So the output will be true. 2525. Line number 2525. A less than B. The next relational operator. 10 less than 20. Yes. So the output should be true. 2527. B less than C. What is the value that we have in B? 20. C, it is 10. 20 less than 10? No. The output should be false. So if you focus for whatever the relational operators that we are using, the output is either true or false. Nothing else. Then we have is equals to. This is called is equals to operator in Python. Okay. Single is equals to is assignment operator and double is equals to is equals to in Python, which is a relational operator. Don't get confused. Single is equals to represents assignment operator, which helps for assigning the values to the variables, to the objects. But in actual, double is equals to is equals to in Python. A is equals to B. Is A is equals to B? No, 10 is not equals to 20. So the output should be false. Clear? Then the next one. A is equals to C. 2531. A is equals to C. 10 is equals to 10. Yes. The output is true. 10 is equals to 10. Then the next operator, the next relational operator that we have is, what is this called? Not is equals to. Is equals to is represented with double is equals to, and not is equals to in Python is represented with exclamatory mark followed by equals to sign. This is called together not equals to. A not equals to B. A not equals to B. Yes. A is not equals to B. 10 is not equals to 20. So the output should be true. Respond for line number 2535. 2535. A not equals to C. 10 not equals to 10. No, no, no. 10 equals to 10, right? So the output should be false. Then the next operator. In relational operators, the next operator is greater than equals to. A greater than or equals to B. What is the value that you have in A? It is 10. What is the value that you have in B? It is 20. Is 10 greater than or equals to 20? No. 10 is less than 20. So the output for line number 2537 will be false. Friends, by the time I am explaining the code, the line, I want you guys to respond immediately. What will be the output for line number 2539? A greater than or equals to C. Is A, the value that is present in A, is it greater than or equals to C? No, it is not greater than C, but it is equals to C because the values are same. So the output will be true. The output for line number 2539 will be true. Then coming to the next example, we have the next last operator of relational operator. It is less than or equals to. Okay, so we are just using the combination less than and equals to. So it is less than or equals to. A less than or equals to B. 10 less than or equals to 20. Yes, A is 10 is less than 20. So it is satisfied. When the condition is satisfied, it has to return true. True. Then B is less than or equals to C. Line number 2543. What will be the output? Line number 2543. B, the value that we have inside B is 20 and in C it is 10. 20 less than or equals to 10. No, 20 is not less than or equals to 10. It is greater than 10. So the output will be false. So what are the different operators that we have learned as part of relational operators? Greater than, less than, is equals to, not equals to, greater than or equals to, and finally less than or equals to. So in total we have understood 6 different types of operators under relational operators. And the purpose of relational operators is to compare the values, right? And every time a relational expression, a relational operator will return only true or false. Nothing else, friends. You cannot have the third outcome when you are using relational operators. Clear? Are they simple? Very, 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 very simple. They are very simple, to be honest. Why? From schooling, we are learning the same things, right? I'm just implementing the same in Python. When you are going to build logics later on, we are going to use operators at each and every point. Okay, so that is the reason I'm very slow. Even though if you are familiar, we have to be slow and steady, right? Yep. Now let us go and understand the next type of operators called as logical operators. Logical operators. How many operators did we cover so far? 3. What are they? Arithmetic, assignment, and relational. So this becomes the 4th type, logical operators. The purpose of logical operators is they help us to combine. They help us to combine 2 or more than 2 relational expressions. Okay. So that means if you have 2 or more than 2 relational expressions, these expressions, relational expressions, can be combined using logical operators. I'm able to connect the dots. If you are understanding each and every point, by this time you should understand what is logical operator, right? A logical operator is an operator which helps us to combine at least 2 or more than 2 relational expressions. What is a relational expression? What is a relational expression? Relational expression is nothing but an expression in which we have 2 or more than 2 relational operators being used to between the variables. Okay, so between 2 or more than 2 variables, if you are using relational operators, that expression is called relational expression. Clear? And the result of logical expression will every time it will be again the same, either true or false. So that means the output that we got under relational operators, it is true or false. The same output is what you get again under logical operators. So how many different types of operators do we have under logical operators? Are 3. We have 3 types. The first one is called OR operator. The first one is called OR, logical OR. So what is this logical OR? Let us understand. So this is, in short, it is called as physical ORing. Okay. So, you have to go back to the truth tables that were being discussed. Anyways, if you are unable to memorize, we have the truth table available for each and every logical operator. Just focus. Right. So if you take OR operator, logical OR operator, the functionality of the OR operator is given over here. Okay. So in general, the purpose of logical operators is they help us to combine two relational expressions. Yes. So let me take relational expression 1 and relational expression 2. Okay. So what if between these two expressions, if I use an logical OR operator, if OR operator is being used between these two expressions, relational expressions, what is the output? We'll understand. See, if the relational expression, if it is true, the first expression is true, and if the second expression is false, the OR expression, the OR operator will also return as true. It will return as true. Then let us understand the second case. If the first relational expression, it holds false, and if the second relational expression, if it is holding true, the OR operator returns true again. What if both the expressions hold true? Again, the OR operator returns true. No, let me take a last case where both the expressions, the relational expressions hold false. Okay, only in this case, the OR operator returns false. So what do you interpret? What do you understand from the output of OR, logical OR operator? I can understand that if at least one expression out of these two, if it is holding true, the output will be true. Clear? So in short, if at least one operator, one expression out of these two, if it is holding true, the output of OR operator will be true. Only if both the expressions are holding false, the output will be false. So let us try with some examples. We have an example in line number 2567. How many expressions do we have? First of all, I see two relational expressions. 1, 2. And which logical operator is used to combine them? OR is the logical operator which is used to combine these two relational expressions. 10 greater than 20. Is it true? False. 20 greater than 30. Is it true? False. So what will be the output for line number 2567? The output will be false. Why? In both the cases it is false, my friends. Okay, if both the expressions hold false, the output will be false again. Clear? Good. Now, respond for the next question. This is your task. I have explained one case, right? In the same way, understand and give the responses in the chat. Two, 5, 6, 9. What is the output for the first expression? It is false. But here it is true. 20 is less than 30. So obviously I had one expression holding true. The output will be true. Yes, that is what the truth table says. The truth table says that if at least one relational expression, if it holds true, the OR operator will return true. In the same way, answer the third question. 2571. Minus 10 less than 10. Is it true? Yes. Minus 10 is obviously less than 10. 100 greater than 200. False. This is not true. 100 is greater than 200. No. So what will be the output? The output will be true again. Why? The third, this case. Sorry, not this one. My bad, this one. True, false. The output is true. True, false, the output is true. So let me execute one by one. It is false. Yes. Then it has to be written as true. Yes. Then in the third case, it has to return true. So our outputs, whatever we have, got are exactly matching with the output. I hope it's clear. If you just understand this truth table, you'll understand the OR, logical OR. How logical OR operator works, it completely depends on this truth table, right? Now, let me go a bit further. There is something called as short circuit evaluation. Are you aware of short circuit evaluation for OR operator? No. Let us understand. What is this short circuit evaluation? This short circuit evaluation can be done for all operators. Okay. So let me do it for OR operator initially. The short circuit evaluation in the case of OR operator, it is talking about if the first expression, is true, then the rest of the relational expressions will not be evaluated. Obviously, if the first expression is true, anyhow the output will be true. That is what we have learned, right? Anyhow, if one of the expression, if it is holding true, why should I go and look out for the rest of the expressions? The output anyways, it will be true. So this is called short circuit evaluation. Okay, and we are going to understand short circuit evaluation by taking a few examples. Okay, and let us check whether it follows short circuit evaluation in this case or not. Okay, so what are we doing in line number 2578? We are performing multi-line assignment. So two values are being assigned to two variables. So A stores the value of 10 and 20 gets assigned to B. Just have a look in the variable explorer. Then, is it following the short circuit evaluation, friends? Line number 2579. Along with the output, I also want you guys to check whether it follows short circuit evaluation or not. 2579. And at 2579, what is happening exactly? A less than B. Yes, 10 is less than 20. So this is holding true. So I have got, the true for one of the the first relational expression, right? So why should I go and evaluate the next expression? Not required. Anyhow, the output will be true. 10 less than 20. So will it undergo short circuit evaluation? Yes, it will. Why? Because the first expression itself, it has written true. What is the purpose of going and, evaluating the second expression? We know that if one of the expression, if it is holding true, OR operator will return true. So this will undergo short circuit evaluation. Okay. In the same way, 2581. A less than B. Again, it is holding true. Should I also go and check the second expression, third expression? Not required. They are not required. Why? What is the purpose of going and checking them? What is the purpose of evaluating them? One expression, if it is holding true, output is true. Why? In the case of only OR operator. Making sense? Then let us discuss the third case, but this time this is false. This is false. A is greater than B. Is A greater than B? No. A is not greater than B. This time it goes and checks for the next expression as well. Here also it is false. 10 is not greater than 100. Here also it is false. So in these cases, it will check all the three expressions. It does not follow short circuit evaluation. No. No. What about the next case? Here, false. This is also false, but this is true. 20 is less than 100, so the output will be true. So let me execute all the statements, all the lines of code, cross check our output. For the first line, this line, we have to get the output as true. Then for the next line, we have to get the output as true again. Then followed by for the next line, we have to get the output false. And finally, for this line also, we have to get the output as true. So we are clear, friends. Probably if you remember the truth table of OR, you can solve any kind of question. If you are asked a question on logical or operator, you can solve any kind of question, right? Now let us go and understand the next type. Under logical operator, the next type of operator we have is AND. This is called, in short, physical ending. This is called physical ending. So what is this physical ending? Again, like how we have a truth table for OR, in the same way we have a truth table for AND. Okay, so the same expressions, at least two expressions I have to take, relational expressions, and I'm taking the different possibilities, true, false, false, true, false, false, and true, true. Now let us focus on the output that we get when we use AND operator. AND operator will return true only in one case. In which case it is? When both the expressions, if they hold true, only in that specific case, AND operator returns true. If not, in all of the rest of the operations, in all of the rest of the cases, the AND operator returns false. So quite opposite too. It's not quite opposite, but it is not working in the similar way of OR operator. OR operator, at least one expression, if it is holding true, the output will be true. But under AND operator, all the expressions should hold true. Only then the output will be true. In rest of the cases, the output will be false. I want you guys to work out on the examples using this truth table. You have to work out on the examples, guys. Answer for line number 2601. 10 greater than 5 and 20 greater than 6. Is this true? Yes, 10 is greater than 5. 20 greater than 6? True. So both the expressions are holding true. The output will be true. Let us go to the next case. 10 less than 5. Obviously, it is false. 10 is not less than 5. And even though if I have true over here, it is false. Why it is false? The number of expressions that we have, all of them, are they holding true? No. If they don't hold true, what is the purpose? If at least one statement, one expression, if it is holding false, the output will be false when we use AND operator. Clear? Now, let us go to the next example. 10 greater than 2? Yes, true. And 20 greater than 6? Is 20 greater than 6? Yes, true. Then let us talk about this expression. 20 not equals to 10. True. Then 20 is equals to 20. Yes, this is also true. So what will be the output for line number 2605? All the expressions hold true. So the output will be true again. You can also, take 2 and get the output. Between these two expressions, OR operator is being used. So true and true, the output will be true. Again, between the next two expressions, again, OR operator is being used. So true and true, again, the output will be true. Even though I am using AND operator, I just had the true for both the expressions, the output will be true. In that way, you have to, break your entire expression. Break. And accordingly, you have to get the output. Let us also work out for the next line. 10 less than 2. Is it 10 less than 2? False. 10 is greater than 2, right? 20 greater than 6. Yes, 20 is greater than 6. 20 is not equals to 10. Yes, 20 is not equals to 10. And 20 is equals to 20. Yes, 20 is equals to 20. Now segregate. What will be the output for line number 2607? Till here, you'll get true. But since you are using an AND operator, for AND operator, you should always have, what will be the output? False? Yes. Now, let us also work out on the last example. 10 less than 2, false. 20 greater than 6, true. 20 is equals to 10, false. And 20 is equals to 20, true. But this time, you see, I'm using majority of the cases, I'm using AND operator, So let me execute all of them, I'll get the output. So for the first line, it will result as true. For the next line, it has to return as false. For the next line, it will return as true. And for this line, it will return as true. Because here it returns false. And somehow we have OR operators, right? So even though if you have one true, that is going to return as true. Okay, it will be true, friends. It will not be false. But here for line number 2609, the output will be false. Why? Because I am using AND operator. Here it will be true, but here it will be false. Then here it again will be false. So in that way, the overall output will be false. From starting, it will start. Clear? The same short circuit evaluation can also be done for AND operator. Okay, in case of AND operator, what will be the short circuit evaluation? If the first expression itself, whatever the first expression, the relation expression that we have, if it is false, obviously the next expressions that we have when you are using an AND operator, okay, when you are just using AND operator, you need not evaluate them. Why? Anyhow, the output will be false. The output will be false. So there is no use of evaluating the rest of the expressions. Okay, so the same concept, whatever we have discussed under OR operator, we can also use it under AND operator. Clear? Good. Now, let us understand the last operator that we have under logical operators. It is not operator. So what is the purpose of not operator? Not operator helps us to, it is going to return us the opposite value for the existing result. So whatever the existing result we have, for example, if we have the expression value, if it is saying it as true, and if I use not operator, the opposite of true is false. So not operator will return as false as output. And in the same way, if the expression is holding false, if I use not on it, it is going to reverse and the output will be true. Clear? So this is the truth table of not operator, and we have some of the examples, and you are supposed to, use the comment chat box and give your responses. Very simple. Not operator is very simple. It helps us to throw us the opposite value. So I'm just taking two values, storing them in A and B. Okay, 100 is getting assigned to A and 200 is getting assigned to B. So what will be the output for line number 2631? A greater than B. Is 100 greater than 200? So what kind of operator it is? It is a relational operator. So the output is False. 100 is not greater than 200. False. Now, what if I use not operator on the same expression? So this false will return, it is going to return the opposite value of false. The output will be true. I hope it's clear. Okay. See, if I take the same expression as it is, I'll get false. Since I'm using not operator on the same expression, the output will be returned. Okay. The opposite of the output will be returned, guys. Then what will be the output for line number 2635? A less than B. Is 100 less than 200? Yes, true. So I'm not using as it is. I'm going to use not of A less than B. So what is the opposite value for true? The output will be false. Clear? Keep going. Then respond for line number 2637. What is the output? What is the output? 10 greater than 5. Yep, true. 10 equals to 10. True. What is the operator that is used to, combine these two relational operators? It is AND. So when does AND return true? When both the expressions hold true, the output will be true. So the output is true. Let us go to the next line. 10 greater than 5. Okay, it is the same. Okay, but on this expression, on this operator, on the same line, I'm going to use not operator. So the reverse value, the opposite value of true will be returned. It will be false. It will be false. Do respond for the last line as well. 2641. 10 not equals to 5. True. 10 is not equals to 5. Anyhow, I'm using OR operator, right? So if I perform, short circuit evaluation, this is not required to evaluate. Why? NOR operator, if the first expression itself it is true, holding true, the output will be true. But since I'm using not of the function, right? So since not operator is being used, the output will be false. The output will be false. So let me execute all of them together. For this line, the output should be true. Did we get true? Yes. For the next line, the output should be false. Did we get false? Yes. For the last line, the output should be false. Yes, we have also got false. Clear? So logical operators, they help us to, what is the functionality of logical operators? They help us to combine, two or more than two logical expressions. From here onwards, we have very interesting, okay, where we are going to use relational operators. Okay, I'm going to use logical operators without relational operators. Probably here. So far, I'm using logical operators like OR, NOT, and using relational operators. But let us try logical operators without relational operators. Okay, so we have we have the operators. How do they work? Along with some examples and the results. If I'm using AND operator, and if I have the values in this fashion, X and Y, okay, if X is false, if the value of X is false, it returns X. Okay, so whenever you are using AND operator between the values, okay, and if the X value is false, it returns the X as it is. What if x is not false? If x is true, it returns y. Otherwise, it returns y. In the same way, if I use OR operator between the values, I'm not going to use relational operators, guys. I'm just trying to use logical operators without using relational operators. So if I use OR operator between the values, and if x value is false, if the x value is false, it returns y. Okay. So in the previous case, it returns x. But in our case, it returns y. What if the value of x is true? Then it returns x. So that is what we have to memorize these two lines. Okay. Now we can solve the questions. The first line that we have is 100 and 200. I'm using a logical operator, but am I using any relational operators? No. I'm using a logical operator without using any relational operators. What are these? So I'm taking two int type values 100 and 200. So let me go here. 100 and x. Is this matching? Yes. If x value is false. So in general, under int type data, okay, what is the value of false in Python? Internally, false is referred as 0. So is the value of x 0? No, it is not 0. It is not false. If it is false, it returns x. Otherwise, it returns y. So what should be the output for line number 2650? The output for line number 2650 should be 200. Why it is 200? Because the value that we have in x is not 0. It is not false. I hope it's making sense. As the value is not false in x, okay, it returns y. If it is false, it returns x. Making sense? Now, this time for line number 2652, I want you guys to respond. Minus 101 and 300. What will be the output? Minus 101 and 300. So just map the syntax here. No, it will not be minus 101. 300. Friends, don't get confused. Why? How come it will be minus 101? Is it 0? No, minus 101 is not 0. What is the condition say? If x value is false. So that means, what does false say? False means 0. Okay. Only if the x value is 0, then it returns x. If not, it returns y when we are using an AND operator. Then let us go to the next line. 0 and 2, 3, 4. So here I have directly used 0. Is x value false? Yes, it is false. So it returns x as it is. So that means the output for line number 2650 will be 0. Good. Good. Then do solve the next question. 2656. 100 and 0. Is the x value is false? No, it is not false. It is not 0. So which value should be written? The y value should be written. So the output will be 0. What is the value of y? It is 0. Clear? Then let us go and work out on the next case, the next example, NEUT and Python. Next era Unitech and Python. So what will be the output? When it comes to string, if you have empty string, that marks it as a false case, right? So we have understood all of these, we have understood as part of type conversions. So the output will be Python. The output will be Python. It will not be NEUT. What about the next case? 0 and Python. 0 and Python. The output will be 0. Good. Keep going, friends. If you understand the concepts, you can play. Right? What about the next case? From here onwards, I started using OR operator. So far, we have understood the examples of AND. So before I execute OR, let me quickly, execute all of these and check the outputs. So here I should get 200. Yes, I got 200. And then in the next case, I should get 300. 300 is the output. In the next case, I should get 0. 0 is the output. And coming to the next line, the output should be 0 again. Yep, 0. Then for the next example, it should be Python. Yes, Python. And finally, for the last example, it should be 0. Perfect. Right? Now let us start using OR operator. 100 or 200. If X is false, it returns Y. If X is false, it returns Y. Is X 0 here? Is X false? No. So the output should be 100. Good. 100 should be the output. In the next case, 0 or 200. Is X value false? Yes, it is false. So it returns Y as it is. The output should be 200. The output should be 200. So let me quickly execute these two. 100 and the next line it will be 200. Then we have two more examples. 0 or 0. Is the X value false? Yes, it is false. So it will return what? It will return Y. So what is the value of Y? It is 0. Clear? And I want you guys to answer for the last question. 2668. 100 and NEUT. 100 and NEUT. I'm not using OR operator, friends. I'm using AND operator. Okay. X and Y. Is the X value false? No, it is not false. If it is false, it returns X. If it is not false, it returns Y. NEUT will be returned as it is. Clear? Yes. We have also understood logical operators without using relational operators. Okay. So in this way, any kind of questions can be expected from the fundamentals and we should be very clear on the concept part. Right? So that's all for the day. And in the next session, we'll just continue with the rest of the operators like membership, then identity, bitwise. Right? So, if you feel that the session went well, hit on the like button and do also subscribe to our channel to get the important, notifications in future as well. Because we have planned a number of sessions. We are coming up with multiple sessions in the future. So ensure that you subscribe to our channel. Clear? Right. And whenever you are doing hands-on, if you find any issues, if you are encountered with any kind of errors, do post these questions in the comment section. We'll reply immediately, friends. We are going to provide you the solutions. Right. How was the session? Did it went well? Thank you. Thank you so much. And a kind of support is what we are expecting from you. Why don't you hit on the like button and encourage us? Right. And also share across your connections. Ask them to learn these sessions. Thank you so much. Thank you, friends. Right. So, any technical questions to be addressed on the topics that were being covered so far? In operators, we have understood arithmetic, then assignment, relational as well as logical. All the four operators were being covered with multiple examples. In the next session, we'll be covering the rest of the three operators, three different types of operators that were left out. Okay, then we'll start a new topic from the next week. Right? So the feedback link has been posted. Ensure that you give your valuable feedback, and we are going to enhance our sessions in the upcoming journey. Okay. So thank you so much for joining, and you know, just give your valuable feedback, friends.